All right, let's talk about something that's a real headache for a lot of manufacturers, ISO 14040. Specifically, we're going to dive into the lifecycle inventory phase and how a tool you probably already use can completely change the game. Because for most small and medium-sized businesses, this is where the trouble really starts.
And I mean, this says it all, right? The lifecycle inventory, the LCI, it's this mountain of data you have to collect and organize. For most manufacturing MSMEs, it just feels like a total data nightmare. Hours and hours of tedious manual work, and you're always worried you missed something.
Okay, before we jump into the solution for that data nightmare, if this is the kind of practical stuff you want to see more of, please do me a quick favor and hit those like, share, and subscribe buttons. It makes a huge difference and helps us keep making these explainers. Now, just imagine for a second, what if you could stop all that manual sifting through messy factory logs? What if you could just let an AI do all that heavy lifting for you? Well, that's exactly what we're going to cover. I'm going to show you how to use a tool like ChatGPT to turn all that raw production data into structured, audit-ready datasets. The best way to think about this is that you have an AI data assistant just waiting for your command. We're not talking about a toy here. We're going to treat this as a serious tool that can take your chaotic, raw data and turn it into these perfectly structured datasets that are ready for any audit.
And here, this is a perfect example of what I mean. Look at the left. That's a typical note from a factory log, right? A little messy. But on the right, that's what the AI gives you back. It understands the note and turns it into clean, structured data. Material, quantity, unit. That's the magic right there. But here's the secret. The AI doesn't just do this on its own. The quality of what you get out depends completely on the quality of what you put in. It all comes down to what we call prompt engineering. Basically, learning how to give the AI the right commands to get those ISO-compliant results you need.
So, the key takeaway is this. You need a very precise prompt structure. It's not about asking a simple question. It's about building a clear set of instructions that tells the AI exactly how to understand and categorize your factory's data, translating it into the official language of ISO 14040.
Now, this is where it gets really powerful. A lot of factories still have handwritten logs. And that used to mean someone had to manually type all that information into a computer. Not anymore. With multimodal AI, you can literally just upload a photo of that handwritten page, and the AI will read it and pull out the data automatically. Think about the hours you'd save.
To get really high accuracy, you gotta teach the AI about your specific business. We call this context injection, and it's a super simple three-step process. First, tell it your niche, like we make specialty plastics. Second, give it examples of your data, like your internal codes for materials. And third, just review what it gives you and correct it. The AI learns from that, and pretty soon it becomes an expert on your factory. Okay, so once you nail down the how, the why becomes so much more exciting. This isn't just about making compliance less painful. It's about turning what used to be a regulatory headache into a serious competitive advantage for your business. When you automate your LCI data, you suddenly unlock some pretty big opportunities. You can start confidently bidding for those lucrative green contracts that require this kind of reporting. You'll be way ahead of the game for future supply chain regulations. And maybe the coolest part, you can actually track your environmental impact almost in real time.
And speaking of future regulations, remember this number, 2026. That's when a new wave of stricter supply chain regulations is expected to hit. By getting on top of this now with AI, you're not just playing catch-up, you're future-proofing your entire operation. And this chart really visualizes the long-term win. The old way meant hiring more people to get less information. But with an AI-powered LCI, you massively boost your tracking capability and get those real-time insights, all without needing to increase your headcount. It's the very definition of working smarter, not harder.
So you're probably wondering, how do I get started? Well, we've made it easy. You can take your very first AI-powered step toward ISO certification right now by using our shared prompt library. These are ready-to-go, tested prompts designed to get you up and running immediately.
And hey, if you found this explainer useful, it would be awesome if you share it with a colleague, and of course, subscribe to the ISO Automation channel for more guides just like this one.
I'll leave you with one final thought. Every single day, your factory is generating tons of valuable data. That data is telling a story about your environmental impact and your opportunities to improve. The real question is, are you ready to listen?